الآلة فليمدد له الرحمن مدا حتى إذا رأوا ما يوعدون إما العذاب وإما الساعة فسيعلمون من هو شر مكانا وأضعف جندا ويزيد الله الذين اهتدوا هدى والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير مردا أفرأيت الذي كفر بآياتنا وقال لأوتين مالا وولدا أطلع الغيب أم اتخذ عند الرحمن عهدا كلا سنكتب ما يقول ونمد له من العذاب مدا ونرثه ما يقول ويأتينا فردا واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة ليكونوا لهم عزا كلا سيكفرون بعبادتهم ويكونون عليهم ضدا ألم تر أنا أرسلنا الشياطين على الكافرين تؤزهم أزا فلا تعجل عليهم إنما نعد لهم عدا يوم نحشر المتقين إلى الرحمن وفدا ونسوق المجرمين إلى جهنم وردا لا يملكون الشفاعة إلا من اتخذ عند الرحمن عهدا وقالوا اتخذ الرحمن ولدا لقد جئتم شيئا إدا تكاد السماوات يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال هدا أن دعوا للرحمن ولدا وما ينبغي للرحمن أن يتخذ ولدا إن كل من في السماوات والأرض إلا آتي الرحمن عبدا لقد أحصاهم وعدهم عدا وكلهم آتيه يوم القيامة فردا إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سيجعل لهم الرحمن ودا فإنما يسرناه بلسانك لتبشر به المتقين وتنذر به قوما لدا وكم أهلكنا قبلهم من قرن هل تحس منهم من أحد أو تسمع لهم ركزا بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept, Ya Rabb, Ameen, 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 and to keep us from those who love the Quran and continuously connect with the Quran, Ya Rabb. Ameen, 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 Ameen. As you know, as you can hear, probably my voice is breaking. Just have a little bit of sickness, but inshallah khair. Was too excited, so I did not want to cancel the class. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy in allowing it to be a beneficial class, Ya Rabb. Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in 64, ayah 64, وَمَا نَتَنَزَّلُ إِلَّا بِأَمْرِ رَبِّكَ لَهُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِينَا وَمَا خَلْفَنَا وَمَا بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. There's a story behind this verse. The verse here, 64, was revealed after a time in which the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did not receive revelation. There were 3 periods that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had a pause in revelation. After the first surah, Surah Al-Alaq, there was a period of pause. Then before Surah Al-Duha, there was a period of a pause. And then before Surah Maryam, there was also a bit of a pause. And so when there was a bit of a pause, people were asking, the mushrikeen came to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and said, oh, why don't you just ask your God, laughingly, jokingly, why doesn't he just connect with you? If you're so close and if you're so dear to him, why has he forsaken you? Why has he abandoned you? And that's why the Surah Al-Duha, مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى, Allah has not, bid you farewell, وَدَّعَكَ, nor has he abandoned you. That is speaking to that context. So the same thing here. They were saying, why doesn't this angel Jibreel come to you? Why doesn't Allah send you some support? So the verse was revealed, وَمَا نَتَنَزَّلُ إِلَّا بِأَمْرِ رَبِّكَ. The angels do not descend except through the permission of Allah. So these are the angels speaking, and that voice is captured and becomes part of the Quran. وَمَا نَتَنَزَّلُ إِلَّا بِأَمْرِ رَبِّكَ لَهُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِينَا وَمَا خَلْفَنَا. To Allah belongs whatever is بَيْنَ أَيْدِينَا, in between our hands, meaning whatever is in front of us, وَمَا خَلْفَنَا, whatever is behind us, meaning Allah is absolutely in control. He knows our present and He knows our future. He knows what we have and what we don't, what we have not, what we've lost, what we've left behind and what is still to come. And this is a reminder speaking to the Arabs who had associated to the angels divine agency. He said that the angels are the daughters of Allah, or the angels are the sons of Allah, or the angels are other beings that have same kind of divinity as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so this comes to challenge that and to answer to that specific context. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. So because the Arabs said, oh, Allah has forgotten you. Then the ayah responds, and your Lord is never forgetful. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. And so this is a reminder for us when we go through these moments where we feel that I'm disconnected from Allah. Did Allah forget about, did I do something? Remember, وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. Allah does not forget. Nothing is lost in front of Allah. The good that you've done and any bad that you've done. Sometimes we forget, but Allah does not forget. We move on, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not move on. Everything will be held and brought to account. Who is this Lord that never forgets? رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا فَاعْبُدْهُ وَاصْطَبِرْ لِعِبَادَتِهِ. This is the Lord of the heavens and the earth and everything in between. فَاعْبُدْهُ. So commit to Him and worship Him and know Him. For Ibn Abbas, when he was asked to summarize what is ibadah, he said, ibadah is knowledge. Ibadah is knowledge of Allah. When you know Allah, it leads you to worshiping Allah. So to know Allah, that is to worship Allah. How can you worship if you don't know who Allah is? So fa'budhu means to know Him. And then he added, and also means to love Him. So you know Him, that leads you to loving Him, and that leads you to wanting to worship Him. And then the ayah here, وَاصْطَبِرْ لِعِبَادَتِهِ. And not just wasbir. Wasbir means patient. Wastabir, the added ta, is added to increase what the patience required here is. So there's a rule in Arabic, كلما زاد المبنى زاد المعنى. The more you add in weight to a word, whether in pronunciation or in length, the more it becomes intensified in meaning. Isbir means to be patient. Istabir means really, really, really exert all patience. Wastabir li'ibadati. So this is a form of patience. To be patient in worship is a form of patience. So Allah's telling you, be patient, don't give up. Don't give up in your worship. There will be days where you don't want to get up for Fajr. Istabir li'ibadati. There will be days where you don't want to get up. You sat, you went to sleep after Maghrib, and it's time for Isha. I'll become Maliki today. Malikis can pray as late as Fajr time. I'll become Maliki today. Or, it's okay, Allah. Istabir li'ibadati. Don't choose and pick. Don't pick and choose. Get up and be patient. So patience is also required in the ibadah. When you give, imagine when you've continuously been asked to give. It takes a toll on you. Allah is saying, وَاصْطَبِرْ لِعِبَادَتِي. Be patient. Don't lose the focus and don't lose the desire to keep worshipping. هَلْ تَعْلَمُ لَهُ سَمِيًّا. Now this is a very beautiful question. Why should you be patient in your pursuit of Allah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala simply asks a question. هَلْ تَعْلَمُ لَهُ سَمِيًّا. Samiyya comes from, sumu. And it also means, to basically be equal to. So height and to be equal to. On the same level, on the same magnificence. Allah is asking us, you should be patient in your worship, because is there anyone else that you know that deserves that? That deserves that level of patience, that level of commitment? Nobody else. Do you know anybody else that has that level of capacity and will and power besides Allah? Nobody. So He is the one that deserves it the most, because He's the one who is the source of it the most and the source of all that we have in every capacity. So no one will be on the same page or the same footing ever as Allah, realistically, philosophically, conceptually. So for that reason, the same should also happen in our heart. That nobody should have that level of commitment in our hearts. Imagine if a daughter says to you, can I get a cup of water? And you're exhausted. You're not going to say no to your daughter, because there's that love, right? If somebody that you love very, very much, you cannot say no to them. You'd never be able to say no to them because of the love that you have. Same thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is deserving of that times a million, infinitely more, because of who He is. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the example of the attitude of the person who goes down the path of impatience in ibadah. وَيَقُولُ الْإِنسَانُ أَإِذَا مَا مِتُّ لَسَوْفَ أُخْرَجُ حَيًّا. Really? When I die, am I going to be raised to life again? So this is the attitude of the person from Quraysh. Really? You're saying we're going to be resurrected? We just live once, we die, and that's it. What happens after? Nothing. We just stay dead. There's no rise again. Then Allah responds to this attitude with a simple question. أَوَلَا يَذْكُرُ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَلَمْ يَكُ شَيْئًا. Does the human being not remember how we created them when they were nothing? هَلْ أَتَى عَلَى الْإِنسَانِ حِينٌ مِنَ الدَّهْرِ لَمْ يَكُنْ شَيْئًا مَذْكُورًا. If Allah created you out of nothing, isn't it easier to create you out of something? You did not exist and you came to exist. So the one who brought you to existence out of no existence can bring you back into existence out of some existence. That's the point. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala simply asks a question back. أَوَلَا يَذْكُرُ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَلَمْ يَكُ شَيْئًا. Now, this is obvious for us because we believe in resurrection as Muslims. But I want you to imagine the other things that people of this day struggle with, and how you can use the same logic, the same questioning to address those issues. The same aqeedah that we're being taught in the surah about who Allah is and why He deserves and what He deserves and why He deserves what He deserves can be used for many other parts of and many other questions that come up. فَوَرَبِّكَ لَنَحْشُرَنَّهُمْ وَالشَّيَاطِينَ ثُمَّ لَنُحْضِرَنَّهُمْ حَوْلَ جَهَنَّمَ جِثِيًّا. Allah takes an oath. It's not easy for Allah to take an oath. It's a big deal. By your Lord, O Muhammad. Imagine Allah speaking to Muhammad and saying, by your Lord, as real as your Lord is, فَلَنَحْشُرَنَّهُمْ. We will resurrect them. We will gather them. وَالشَّيَاطِينَ. And so will the shayateen. Because what happened with the shayateen themselves believed, the resurrection is only for humans. I don't know what you guys think about jinn possession and jinn, all this stuff, but the reality is that world is real. The jinn exists. And I remember way back when I was doing some ruqyas, anyway, way back in the day when I was doing some ruqyas, I remember one jinn, supposedly, Allahu alam, but this jinn started talking back and saying, I know about hell, but hell is not for us. Hell is for you guys, you humans. We jinn don't go to hell. There's no hell or heaven for us. We have different promises, different things with another being, another God. And it's so interesting, subhanAllah, whether this was like an actual jinn or some psychosis of some kind. What's interesting is that it confirms what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. That وَلَنَحْشُرَنَّهُمْ, we will gather them. And the shayateen too will be gathered. The shayateen are not exempt from resurrection. They will die, and they will be resurrected, and they will be brought to judgment. By the way, the reason why I'm skeptical, some of you are wondering, why am I skeptical about jinn possessions? I don't know if I told you this story. I'm sure there's some that are real, but some are completely bakwas. Nonsense. So, there's this guy. May Allah make it easy. May Allah make it easy. This guy came to Hamilton when I was doing some ruqyas in Hamilton. And he was visiting. And the Jama'at al-Tabligh, when they come to do khuruj, to sleep in the masjid, So they were sleeping in the masjid, and they were all the way at the other end, and it was completely dark. So I didn't know that there was anybody in the masjid. And this guy comes to me, he's like, please, 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 Shaykh, read Quran on me, read Quran on me, read Quran on me. He insisted, and he didn't want it. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Let's go to a corner in the masjid. And it's late at night. I remember Friday night. He's like, okay, let's read some Quran. So I started reciting some Quran. And then, of course, the guy started banging and banging and banging and banging and banging and banging, making all kinds of noise and conversation, back and forth, back and forth. He introduces himself. He says, my name is this, and I'm this jinn from this, and I'm from this, and I'm going to do this to this guy, and I'm going to do this to this guy. Now, who is in the back listening to all of this? One of these guys that came to the masjid. He's just doing khuruj, man. He didn't come to attend any of this. But he happens to listen to this. And for whatever reason, he came and he joined. He sat in the conversation. And when he came and he joined and sat in the conversation, the jinn wasn't too happy with him for some reason. So he kept yelling at him, like, you stop talking, I don't want to hear your voice. I'm saying it in a much more polite way than what was actually. By the way, there's an audio of this. I think some of you have listened to the audio. And for those of you who haven't, don't listen to it. Anyway. So what happens 2 weeks later, after this issue is resolved, this first issue, the guy who was visiting gives me a call. He's like, listen, please, 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 please come visit me in Scarborough because I am possessed by the same jinn that was there. I'm like, well, so you're saying he left the guy that was reciting Quran, he came to you? He's like, I think that's what happened. So I happened to be visiting my family who lived in Scarborough at that time. So I'm like, you know what, let me stop by the masjid. It was a Sakina masjid when they were open back then. And I went inside and I said, okay, let me recite some Quran to see what happens. And I'm as curious as he is. I want to see what happens. So I started reciting Quran. And 2 minutes into the recitation, usually it takes an hour, 2 hours before you get any response. But 2 minutes, this voice comes, right? Allahu Alam. And then he starts talking. He says, my name is Zarzabar. And I'm from this clan. And I'm from that clan. And so I start talking back with him for 20 minutes. Right? So tell me a little bit more. Why aren't you Muslim? Why are you doing this? Why are you in this guy's body? Get out. So he's like, you know what? Fine, I'll get out. But I don't know if I can. I'm going to be hurt and this and this and that. I'm like, okay, become Muslim. If you're going to be from the jinn who are Muslim, Allah will protect you. Back and forth, back and forth. Eventually he's like, fine, I'll become Muslim. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. The guy, passes out, then comes back. He's like, well, what just happened? What just happened? I'm like, apparently there's a jinn. His name is Zarzabar. And he just became Muslim. And he just left. But just to double check, I'm gonna keep reciting again to see if there's more. He's like, okay. So I start reciting again. Boom. Again. Second voice. My name is Sharshabar. They all rhyme Sharshabar, Kharkhabar, Barkabar. All the So he's like, my name is this. I'm like, okay, nice to meet you. What's your story? So I start calling him to Islam. One guy came to Islam. Maybe this guy will come to Islam. So I start talking for 20 minutes again, and he becomes Muslim. Then he passes out. Then you hear the voice. Then the next one. Let me recite just in case. Then the third jinn now comes. He's like, yeah, my name is whatever. Barkabar. Same name. Same name format. And then I'm like, okay, listen, Barkabar. I already spoke to Zarzabar and Sharshabar. And I already gave them da'wah. So, logically speaking, you already heard what I have to say. So let's just, let's put this on forward. Fast forward. Just do the shahada. Can we just get to the shahada? He's like, you're right. I do believe in Islam. I'm like, okay. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Next. So we go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think we went to 12. I can't remember if it was 10 or 12. But after 12, I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't think I'm that special to be able to convert 12 jinn in one sitting. No one will ever believe this bakwas, okay? I don't know if this is real. So I asked him, listen. Really, when the last jinn, I'm like, really tell me. Are you the same jinn? He's like, yeah. It's been me all along. Then he gives this very evil laugh. So Allahu A'lam. Now there are many theories. I've spoken to a bunch of people about this. The first theory is this is obviously some form of delusion. And it's the same person, they're struggling. Whether it's split personality, multiple personality, whatever it may be. Psychosis, schizophrenia, Allahu A'lam. That's the first theory. The second theory is that this person was actually possessed by that many jinn, and apparently they all became Muslim. And then the last guy, when he heard the question, like, is it you all along? He fed into it, and jinn like to feel very important. It's like, oh, that's such a smart idea. I didn't even think, but I'll take credit for it. Could have been, and he just took credit for it. Allahu Alam. And then the next one is that he was possessed by one, and he was putting on this show to kind of like waste time. But at the end of the day, what we know for sure is that jinn lie. They're very deceptive. So there's no way to know. Allahu Alam. There's no way to know. But what I do know is that practically and functionally, I'm so sorry for the little kids, I just noticed we have some of them here. I'll be able to sleep tonight. Inshallah, the parents will help you unpack what just happened. Allah al-Musta'an. But what I do know is that the Quran is a form of healing in many of those cases. And there are cases like the 5% which are genuinely beyond explanation. Beyond explanation. You know, you'll see cases of like somebody developing a really bad pain somewhere in their body. They will go to every doctor, every physician, every possible remedy, natural medicine, this medicine, surgery, nothing changes it. And then you literally recite Quran on them for like 2-3 hours. They feel a little bit of like, you know, like relief, muscle tension, relaxation. And then after a while they report, subhanAllah, I felt like something exited my body. And just like that, you know, I felt completely healed. So it does happen, Allahu Alam. We know the Quran to be healing. So whenever somebody comes to, you know, claim or to say that they have any of these things, it is best that you give them the Quran as a healing, and you do like ruqya, especially self-ruqya, and not get too much into the explanation. I think we'll leave that to the experts one day to figure what's going on out. But what we know practically is that the Quran helps, and because it helps, we do it regardless of how it works. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best how it works. So coming back to the ayah, فَوَرَبِّكَ لَنَحْشُرَنَّهُم. I hope that you enjoy at least a little bit. فَوَرَبِّكَ لَنَحْشُرَنَّهُم وَالشَّيَاطِينَ ثُمَّ لَنُحْضِرَنَّهُمْ حَوْلَ جَهَنَّمَ جِثِيًّا. We will resurrect them, and we will resurrect the shayateen, and we will gather them around Jahannam. Jithiyya means kneeling down, from Jathiyya. Jathiyya means humiliated, kneeling down. So they will be in a position where they're forced to be humbled because they lived, again, the shayateen, they're arrogant. And whether these are the shayateen from the jinn or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala humbles and humiliates them. ثُمَّ لَنَنْزِعَنَّ مِنْ كُلِّ شِيَعَةٍ أَيُّهُمْ أَشَدُّ عَلَى الرَّحْمَنِ عِتِيًّا. Then we will certainly begin by dragging, لَنَنْزِعَنَّ, نَزَعَ, drag out of those groups, أَيُّهُمْ أَشَدُّ عَلى الرَّحْمَنِ عِتِيًّا. The ones who are most عَتَى يَعْتُ عِتِيًّا, right? The one who's most defiant when it comes to the merciful. They defy the rules of the merciful. So those will be the first to be dragged out, and then they will be thrown into Jahannam. I want you to imagine, subhanAllah, what a scene. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying He's going to begin with the most defiant, and they're going to be thrown into Jahannam. And that in itself is, a source of peace and comfort for the one who's being bullied and oppressed. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins with those that are most wrong, most unjust, most unfair. And actually in Surah Al-Qasas, Allah mentions that وَلَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذُنُوبِهِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ. That those who commit such atrocities, like we're talking about terrible atrocity, Allah will not even give them a chance to speak. They will be denied the trial completely. Those who are by consensus people of injustice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deny them the chance to even speak to Him, to even communicate with Him. And they will be given a direct entrance to Jahannam. And that in itself is not supposed to, this is very important, that does not relieve the burden on all of us to act justly and to bring those people to justice. But in those difficult times where you do your best, you've done your best, absolutely, but there's just so much injustice or injustice that you can't even do anything about it, remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grab and drag those by force to account. And that keeps you reassured. So you do your best. You never do less than your best. But you know your best will never be enough. There will be injustice in this dunya that's beyond human capacity, beyond human systems. Because people are deceptive. There are many people that are deceptive. And so for those who are unjust beyond human capacity to bring to justice, Allah will bring them to justice. ثُمَّ لَنَحْنُ أَعْلَمُ بِالَّذِينَ هُمْ أَوْلَى بِهَا صِلِيًّا. You know how amazing this is? Allah says, and don't forget. This is an ayah that I want you to remember. And don't forget that we, the royal we is used here. Respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَنَحْنُ أَعْلَمُ ثُمَّ لَنَحْنُ. Double the emphasis. We absolutely, truly know الَّذِينَ هُمْ أَوْلَى بِهَا صِلِيًّا. The ones that deserve this punishment of fire the most. The ones that are most deserving of burning in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding you that nobody's going to enter Jahannam except through His justice and mercy. Mercy to others and justice to others, and even to that person, bringing them to justice. And so sometimes we wonder, like, how can Allah punish this person for that long or this? At the end of the day, Allah knows people better than us, and Allah loves people more than He loves us, or more than we love people, right? And whenever He, the Rahman, chooses to punish somebody, who am I as a human being to question for how long or to question why? So I leave the judgment and the punishment to Allah, and I have trust that Allah will deal with me based on His rahmah and justice. But I hope that it doesn't have to come to justice, because none of us, if we're dealt with His justice, would ever, ever, ever make it to Jannah. Because none of us are void of contradictions and, impurities and flaws and sins. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says, none of you enter Jannah except through the grace of Allah. He said, even you, Ya Rasulullah? I said, even me. Had it not been for the mercy of Allah, I would never make it anywhere near Jannah. So we know our actions are not enough to take us to Jannah, but our actions are what show Allah, the fuel, that show Allah that we mean the search for His mercy, that we're genuine in looking for His mercy. That's not just an excuse. Yeah, His mercy, so I'll do whatever I want. Our actions are not what take us to Jannah, but our actions are what show to us, first and foremost, that we're serious about receiving the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This ayah, the 71st ayah, made the companions cry. This ayah to come. وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. And none of you will avoid contact with Jahannam. This made the companions really scary. So they had to ask, what do you mean, Ya Rasulullah, by wariduha? And this is where he explained that all of you will walk above Jahannam. Will walk above Jahannam. There's a path, the Sirat, that we all have to cross. And as we cross, when you look down, that path will be thin or thick from your perception based on whether you lived a good life or otherwise. So there'll be people that will feel as if it's a fine thread. And people will feel that it's a fine blade that they have to cross over. And others, it'll feel as wide as a bridge. One of the companions, he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, I had a dream in which I was crossing, and I looked down, and I would see people, but Allah made the path that I was crossing wide and easy. And he told him, this is bushra, this is good news from Allah. Keep doing what you're doing. Now, I know, subhanAllah, people who, through their dreams, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there's a hadith in which he says, a share of prophethood, a very small share, 1 out of 46 of prophethood, will remain in the form of a good vision, a good ru'ya, a good dream. A dream in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspires you to do good. So I know a story of a sister who, mashallah, in a dream she saw that there was one person who was walking on the Sirat and struggling. And then she would continuously reach out to her, and eventually she reached out and held her by the hand and supported her through that walk. So she understood that to be a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that person is struggling and that she should never give up on that person. She continued to invest in that person. And subhanAllah, because of the investment, she came to realize that there were a lot of things going wrong in that person's life, a lot of fitna pulling them the other way, pulling them away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this was a good opportunity for her to realize it and to actually, subhanAllah, bring her back and help her for years until she passed away. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might inspire you to be a reason that somebody's journey on the sirat is smoother and somebody's saved. And some of these, subhanAllah, situations get you to realize these dreams that people have about the sirat and how thin it is and how thick it is. Allahu a'lam, but at the end of the day, what we know based on the hadith that are authentic is that each and every one of us will have to pass the sirat. And what a test. What a test. The sheer anxiety of looking down and seeing what's happening and the punishments of the people there. May Allah protect us, Ya Rabb, Ameen. And then Allah reassures us again, كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. This is indeed a decree of your Lord that will definitely, without doubt, be fulfilled. حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. As if to remind us that some of us will doubt. And that's what some of the recent, more progressive understandings of Islam that try to, anything that talks about hell, anything that talks about these things, let's pacify, let's make it nicer. The sirat is not a real thing, it's a metaphor, it's this, it's that. At the end of the day, Allah emphasizes, كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا, that there's no doubt about this, and that indeed it will happen. Then Allah gives us hope. ثُمَّ نُنَجِّي الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا وَنَذَرُ الظَّالِمِينَ فِيهَا جِثِيًّا. But we will give safety and support to those who have taqwa. And the zalimeen, the people of injustice, aggression, the criminals will be the ones that will continue to be their jithiyya again, continue to be humiliated on their knees. وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُنَا بَيِّنَاتٍ قَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَيُّ الْفَرِيقَيْنِ خَيْرٌ مَقَامًا وَأَحْسَنُ نَدِيًّا. If only we hear this ayah and compare it to the world we're living in. And when all these ayat about the sirat and Jannah and Jahannam and the punishment and the story of Maryam and Ibrahim and Isa, all of this is mentioned, they simply say listen to this, the mushrikeen, the people, الذين كفروا, they say to the believers, well, let's ask a question. أي الفريقين, which group, you or us, خير مقاما وأحسن نديا, which of us has a better status, maqam, وأحسن نديا, and superior in their assembly. Think about nadwa, the parliament. Which of us has a better position in society, and which of us can call the largest gathering? As if the mushrikeen are saying, yeah, keep blabbering about this Jannah, Jahannam, all this stuff that you're imagining. Keep blabbering on this Quran, Sunnah, all this stuff that you have. At the end of the day, look, we have status. You don't. We have influence and reach. You don't. So, because we have influence, status, and reach, we must be good and you must be bad. We must be right and you must be wrong. Equating power with truth is very dangerous. Equating status with morality and ethics is very dangerous. That's not how life works. And we've seen the Quran is full of this. And the Quran keeps repeating this because we keep forgetting. We keep forgetting. Yeah, we heard it in Surah Fajr. We heard it in Surah Amma. We heard it in Al-Baqarah and Imran, Nisa, over and over again, repeated again. Wealth does not equal ethics, good. Allah gives to those who likes, and He doesn't, and He gives to those who those who have distanced themselves from Him, and have as a result exited His mercy. Allah gives to both. And you see this happening nowadays. The same colonial circumstances which led the Muslim countries to really regress, and it's not just colonial circumstances, we did some bad things ourselves. All the internal division, right? If you look at when the Ottomans lost, when the Muslims left Andalusia, when the Mamluks fell, when the Abbasids fell, when the Umayyads, the Umayyads fell, one thing that you will see common in all of those histories is they became so divided, they became so disunited, there was so much envy and jealousy and love for dunya. Love for dunya. And so, when we begin to equate success in this dunya with success with Allah, we're on very dangerous terrain. Allah can give and Allah can test by giving and by taking. So Allah reminds them, وَكَمْ أَهْلَكْنَا قَبْلَهُمْ مِنْ قَرْنٍ هُمْ أَحْسَنُ وَأَثَاثًا وَرِئْيًا. Sure, you have power and you have status, but Allah has destroyed before you many nations. How many nations were destroyed before you who had better athatha? You know, athatha in Arabic refers to the luxury. Athath, like the furniture, but the luxurious furniture. Wari'ya, the things that you just enjoy looking at. You just buy it so you can look at it. Allah's saying, how many nations were destroyed before you that had all of this luxury, all this furniture, and all of these splendors, all of these beautiful things that would mesmerize the eye, dazzle the eye. So you think you're powerful? You think your little net worth that you have, among your little friends and group of people, you're the richest. Cool, mashallah. Right? And if you look at the Arabs, it's so funny that the Arabs had all this arrogance, yet they didn't live the most beautiful of lives. Like even Abu Jahl, even Abu Sufyan before Islam, these big like bigots who like had all this arrogance, they had nothing compared to what the Persians had and what the Romans had. Yet because in their little bubble they were so much better than everybody else around them, they were what? They had this illusion. And it's the same thing. Multiple people have that illusion in different circles. You could be, as the saying goes, a one-eyed man is king in the land of the blind. And mashallah, you have one eye you can see, so in the land of the blind, you're the king, mashallah, tabarakallah. Right? So the same thing. So don't get so caught up over what you have, because in comparison to what Allah has given others, it's nothing. And that's why we should always be humble. Always be humble. Then Allah mentions, and this becomes a very important rule, ayah 75, قُلْ مَنْ كَانَ فِي الضَّلَالَةِ فَلْيَمْدُدْ لَهُ الرَّحْمَنُ مَدًّا حَتَّى إِذَا رَأَى مَا يُوعَدُونَ إِمَّا الْعَذَابُ وَإِمَّا السَّاعَةُ فَسَيَعْلَمُونَ مَنْ هُوَ شَرٌّ مَكَانًا وَأَضْعَفُ جُنْدًا. Allah saying, whoever wishes to be entrenched in loss and in misguidance, Allah will continue, the Rahman will continue to give them loss and misguidance. So if you're looking for misguidance, Allah will show you one or two signs. You ignore those signs, you misinterpret, you reinterpret those signs, Allah will continue to allow you to go deeper and deeper into that misguidance. So Allah will show you one or two signs. You ignore them, then Allah will allow you to go deeper and deeper into the misguidance. حَتَّى إِذَا رَأَى مَا يُوعَدُونَ إِمَّا الْعَذَابُ وَإِمَّا السَّاعَةُ. And then finally, they will come to face with what they were threatened with, what they have been promised. إِمَّا الْعَذَابُ, either immediate punishment in this dunya. Allah will destroy them like He destroyed Ad and Thamud. وَإِمَّا السَّاعَةُ, or they will be coming to face to face with that serious promise when they meet Allah. So Allah is reminding you, every one of those people who's done injustice will either face the punishment in this dunya, they will spin a web and that web will consume them. They will be destroyed in this dunya and become a sign for others, a moral lesson for others, or Allah will defer that punishment to the Yawm al-Qiyamah. And when Allah defers that punishment to Yawm al-Qiyamah, it is reserved exclusively for really, really terrible people and terrible punishments. But when Allah lets somebody get away and doesn't get punished in this dunya, it's because they don't need to be punished, because they've done so much wrong that they don't need to be lowered in the eyes of people. They've already been lowered in the eyes of people. So Allah allows all the punishment to happen the day that they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing gets, put in this dunya, because punishment in this dunya is relatively easier to deal with than the punishment of the akhirah. Humiliation, jail, like what? Right? Much easier. So when Allah defers the punishment for a person to the akhirah, it is actually, subhanallah, one of the biggest punishments, one of the biggest ways of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show that this is an individual who is really, really in the wrong. May Allah protect us, Ya Rabbi, Ameen. And then Allah reminds, and then when they stand face to face with that reality, they will know. فَسَيَعْلَمُونَ, they will come to know. مَنْ هُوَ شَرٌّ مَكَانًا وَأَضْعَفُ جُنْدًا. Because they said, look, who has better reach? We do. Who has better status? We do. Then Allah says, when you come to face to face with the akhirah and the reality there, you will come to know then. مَنْ هُوَ شَرٌّ مَكَانًا, who has a worse position, a really terrible position, وَأَضْعَفُ جُنْدًا, and who has weaker, inferior manpower, human power. Soldiers, you think you have your followers? A lot of people think, subhanAllah, like, you know, when like some of the people that I work with, who work in charities, for example, they will say we do work with influencers. And if somebody has if the influencers have over 2 million, 3 million followers, they somehow, not everybody, but many, somehow feel that they're khalas, above everybody else. They'll be ridiculous in their demands. I need to fly first class. Here is the list of things that I need upon reaching the hotel. This is how I like my first coffee to be made. This is how I like my first tea to be made. This specific order that costs $500, I need you to get it for me. This is how I like my slippers to be put on. Please assign one of the volunteers to do that. I like my foot massage at this time. My nail. Ya Ammi, what is it? What do you think? You're a human being, Habibi. Smell the hummus and wake up. What's wrong with you? Use it for good, not for bad. Like what? Really? And it's such an illusion. It's such an illusion because may Allah forbid, may Allah protect all those people and guide them. But if anything were to happen to you, do you really think those 2 million, 3 million people are gonna lose sleep over? People move on. So don't define yourself based on what Allah has given you, Allah has taken. You have to be more firm than that. You have to be more firm than that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a beautiful, beautiful ayah. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. There are people who worship Allah ala harf. Ibn Abbas says this is referring to the Bedouins. The Bedouins who lived outside of Medina. The people who settled into the cities, they had a bit of stability. So they had things that they were grounded in. But the Bedouins, they had this attitude of, I gotta follow the hunt, I gotta follow the game. So that created this psychology in them of I gotta follow where the money is, where the benefit is, where the self-service is. Whatever is gonna serve me, that's where I'll go. So Allah says they worship Him, but ala harf. Literally, it could be understood as on the edge. Ala harf means al-hiffa. They want to just do the bare minimum. The bare minimum. I'll just do whatever to be considered Muslim, but I still want to be a part of the other system as well. Or on the edge, I don't know if I believe, I don't know if I don't, but the Muslims have power, so I'll just join whatever. I don't even know why we do this. My parents do it, community do it. And here's the thing, some of you are going to say, Yani Sheikh, but now we don't live in a time where Muslims have any power. So nobody would ever become Muslim for the sake of power, for the sake of status. Nobody. But you're wrong. There are people still hold on to this image that the righteous for the sake of other benefits. It could be a marriage. They have no Islam in their heart, but they pretend because they want to marry a good sister. They're like, Islam doesn't make any sense to me, but Muslim girls are really, really good. So I want to marry a good Muslimah. I'll pretend to be a religious guy so I can get a good girl. At least they don't cheat, they don't lie to you, they don't manipulate you. And they have the hijab, so they're modest. I've actually counseled a case in which that was the situation, unfortunately. So they're worshipping Allah, they're putting on this facade, but it's for what? It's for the sake of self-benefit, for the sake of a status, for the sake of a position, for the sake of recognition. Or it could be understood as just the bare minimum. Ya'budullah ala harf. The edge, literally on the edge. Just whatever I need to be categorized as Muslim. That's it. Beyond that, don't expect anything more from me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after talking about how He will continue to entrench those looking for wrong in further wrong, Allah gives good news. وَيَزِيدُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا هُدًى. There's a rule here. وَيَزِيدُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا هُدًى. And Allah will give more guidance to those who seek guidance. Allah will give more guidance to those who seek guidance. So when you turn to Allah and you ask for the hidayah, do you think Allah is going to let you go without receiving it? Allah will give it to you. When you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabb, give it to me. Ya Allah, I need it. I'm desperate for it. I can't see on my own. I need you. I need the help. Wallahi, wallahi, wallahi. It could take 5 years. It could take 10 years. But I guarantee you that dua will be answered. The dua for guidance will never, ever, ever be rejected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if it's sincere and if you take the steps to show that you're serious in looking for it. You take that first step. You walk that first walk. You go to your local masjid. You seek knowledge. You go beyond that. You find resources. You connect with people. You travel. You look. See, this world is big. Look for the signs. Look for the sources of guidance. Allah will give it to you. It could come in the form of an experience that completely shifts the way you see the world. It could come in the form of a lesson that you attend. One reminder that you attend could speak to your situation and like literally break away all of the doubt and the chaos and the confusion that you had. Could be an inspirational person that you come across. Right? SubhanAllah. I know, I'll give you an example. One person, he had suffered terrible abuse as a young person. And for that reason, they hated marriage. They hated the idea of marriage. They hated the idea of falling in love. They hated the idea of being vulnerable. Lots of difficult things that they had to basically carry from that. And they kept asking Allah, Ya Allah, telling me this is the dua they were making. Ya Allah, I'm broken. I feel broken. I feel broken. Fix me. Ya Allah, I feel broken. Fix me. He said, I was making that dua at least a dozen times every salah. At least a dozen times. The dua, Ya Allah, I'm broken, fix me. 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 And without giving too much information about what happened, subhanAllah, that individual ended up through a series of events coming across somebody that transformed their life. And now they have by the will of Allah, and very successful. And they've been married for a time and they've had kids. Of course, it's difficult to overcome it completely, but they're living a healthy life. They're overcoming and they're coping. So no amount of breaking is too big for Allah to fix. No amount of damage. Nobody is damaged goods in the sight of Allah. There's good in every one of us. And Allah can bring that good out. Don't ever look at yourself and say, I'm broken. No, never. You're still alive. There's purpose to your living. You're still alive. Every breath that you take, Allah's giving you a reason. Allah's giving you some hope. And the Quran is full of that hope, full of those reminders. So no one is ever too broken, and don't let anybody ever convince you that you're too broken. As we heard from, the brother, mashallah, may Allah bless him, Brother David, when he was reminding us, overcoming your past, right? Overcoming your past, and the importance of brotherhood and support from the community in doing that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's another story here. Page 70, ayah 77. أَفَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ بِآيَاتِنَا وَقَالَ لَأُوتَيَنَّ مَالًا وَوَلَدًا. This story was revealed about Al-As ibn Wa'il al-Sahmi. And Al-As ibn Wa'il al-Sahmi, he used to basically be a very rich person. And sometimes he would take loans to make big purchases. So he borrowed money from Khabbab al-Arat, who was a very poor person. Khabbab doesn't have much. But imagine this wealthy person managed to convince Khabbab al-Arat to give whatever little money they had. So Khabbab gave it. And Khabbab's life depended on this money.
So he would keep coming and coming and coming, and please help me, please help me, please help me. Can I have my money back? Can I have my money back? And he would tell him, I will never give you your money back until you renounce your faith in Allah. See how I was able to convince you to give it to me? And see how I was able to convince you to even though I have much more, I tricked you into giving it to me. And now your whole life is in my hands. I can choose for you to live or to die. So who is more worthy of your allegiance? This God that you cannot see, that supposedly controls things, or me who's absolutely not in control of your life? I can give you your money or not. So renounce your faith in Allah and believe in me. Can you imagine, subhanAllah, the fitna and the arrogance and the ego of such an individual? And then that person, he said to him, Khabbab bin Arat, he said, and you see how I was able to get that money from you? By tricking you with a few good words? That's what I do all the time. And that's what this life is about. Being a good person is not going to get you nowhere. You keep believing in this good stuff. It'll never get you anywhere. But this attitude that I have is how I'm going to get more wealth and more kids. So the ayah was revealed. أَفَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ بِآيَاتِنَا وَقَالَ لَأُوتَيَنَّ مَالًا وَوَلَدًا. Have you seen the one who denied our signs and says, I will continue to be given more and more wealth and more children? So imagine, he's literally saying, I'm going to trick my way into more relationships so I can have more kids, more status, increase my bloodline, increase my tribe, and I'm going to trick my way into making more money. And that's been my rule. That's been how I've been able to amass this wealth. Pretend, put on a show. But you're trying to be good, and what has it done for you? Nothing. And again, it goes back to the attitude of equating wealth and status, or wealth and money, whatever, children, family size, with what? With Allah's pleasure. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. So this continues to reassure the companions. And the same happens with Qarun. Remember Qarun? فَخَرَجَ عَلَى قَوْمِ فِي زِينَتِهِ. Qarun, one of his tricks is he wore his best attire, took his gold and silver, and went out and showed this to the community. قال الذين يريدون الحياة الدنيا يا ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون. The people who want this dunya, the people who have lust for the dunya, they said, wow, that's really nice. Why can't we have that? I want to do that. So whatever Qarun is doing, I want to do that. قال الذين أوتوا العلم ويلكم ثواب الله خير. The people who have real knowledge, don't be deceived. Dunya is just an illusion. Don't be deceived by this. It's not real. It's a facade. It's a facade. Now you think this stuff was used in the past. This stuff is not used today. But it's used today all the time. Equating a product with status. David Beckham is holding something, therefore I want it, because he has it. Cristiano Ronaldo is wearing something, I want it. This singer and that dancer has it, I want it. Same thing is being used in marketing, day to day. Day to day, right? And even beyond marketing, it was used as an important colonial tool. When Napoleon, for example, came to Egypt to induce this awe for the French, what he did is he put on this amazing show with exotic dancers, with the latest technology, the latest this, the latest that. And the idea of that show was to basically exotify the French culture and make it seem way, way more progressive than what it was, way more developed than it was. And there was this whole plan developed to really, really induce inferiority in the Egyptians. And the same thing happened anywhere else where the colonies went, right? Same thing happened even in Djibouti. If you look at Congo, if you look at Ethiopia, Eritrea, right, wherever, the Sudan, Morocco by the French, right? The Somali with the Italians, same kind of attitude. We're going to come and showcase the best, And there's so much that is good in that culture, but we're not going to pay attention to any of that. It's not an exchange. It's a one-way induction of inferiority, intended induction of inferiority. But may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that, Ya Rabb, Ameen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to benefit from the Quran, Ya Rabb, Ameen, 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 Ameen. I believe Isha is, yes, in 5 minutes. Okay, طيب. We'll take a break, inshallah. So we didn't get a chance to finish today, but we'll finish next week, inshallah, the surah. Barakallahu feekum. And after that, we'll be beginning Surah Yusuf, inshallah ta'ala. So barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless you and your family and give you Jannat Firdaus. We'll see you, inshallah, next week.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
استووا واعتدلوا بالصلاة رحمكم الله. Straighten your lines. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. It's good to see, alhamdulillah, the two Davids, mashallah. The whole family is here, mashallah, tabarakallah. Alhamdulillah, the two brothers became Muslim earlier at the time of Maghrib, in case you missed it. So they accepted Islam, mashallah, at the time of Maghrib. And they're part of a larger family that came to Islam, mashallah. So David became Muslim, then his wife, then his mom, mashallah. Now the two family members. May Allah keep you together and allow the community to be of service to you, Ya Rabbi, Ameen. And when they did come to Islam, I was reminded, subhanAllah, that we have a lot of brothers and sisters coming to Islam, and it's very difficult now with the current team to manage all the requests. So we're looking to expand a little bit, and anybody, I know some of you have spoken to me already about this, so this is a reminder to reach out, inshallah. If you're able to teach new Muslims how to make wudu, if you want to just invite them over to your house for dinner, if you want to teach them how to make salah, if you want to teach them how to recite Quran, we're looking for brothers and sisters, like 5 brothers, 5 sisters, to volunteer their time, inshallah, to help with this. So for those of you who are in the Quran journey group, you have access to my number. Just message me, inshallah, if you can. Or if you don't, you can email me or just get in touch with me here, inshallah, so we can get your information and help, inshallah, with this. This is, again, going to be a very important trust that is placed. So we're going to be very picky about who we select. But if there's any interest, inshallah, please let us know. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum.